Hey everybody, sorry I can't be there this week. I know it seems kind of crazy with the Kilgore College protocol, and I had no idea it was going to be this way. But because I had a sinus infection, but I also had a few symptoms of COVID, I had to get tested, and even though I tested negative, I don't know, they won't let me come back. So anyway, it's crazy. I understand it, but here we are. So what I thought I would do is I would create the video today for Wednesday's class, lecture basically exactly what I would have covered in class, and talk a little bit about what we missed today in person. There's some things I wanted to talk to you about before you were working on that chapter 22 and 23 worksheet. So hopefully this will get us caught up. And then on Thursday, I'll have another video for you. First off, you probably saw that I graded your works cited practice, and I started commenting on everybody's paper, you know, like you made a 90 because I took off 5 points because you didn't hanging indent, or I took off 5 points because I didn't see double spacing, or you left off some things and I took off 2 points. And so as I was grading those, it was taking a lot of time. And so I said, okay, let me just stop making all the comments. Let me get finished through and just grade them. And then I wanted to show you a correct works cited page. So, I mean, I'm sure you can tell whose this is from the last name. But anyway, this is a perfect works cited page. It's got the header, not the heading. It's got the title, works cited, and then it has, in alphabetical order, the list of the 3 sources. Some of you on first one, Francine Watman Frank was her name. Her Watman is probably her maiden name, but it's part of her name that she goes by, so it's like a middle name. Some of you put New York on here, and we no longer have to do that. The information was there, I realized that, but if you look at your model, you don't have to put the city of publication anymore. On the Larry Mission article, a lot of you got most of this right. Some of you forgot the Education Today part. A lot of you did not italicize Bloom's literature. Your databases need to be italicized. And then most of you got the one from the encyclopedia done correctly. So anyway, if you want to take a picture, sorry, of this one, it is correct. I'll also probably post it a little later tonight, so it'll be in week 10 for you, okay? All right, I also wanted to show you that I've opened up week 10, and an important part is the folder. I've opened up more issues for you to choose from. I took these from ones that y'all had done, ones that Henderson had also included. Now, if the one that you really think that you want to do your research paper on is not listed here, just send me a quick email and say, hey, Ms. Truman, I didn't see this issue, but I really think it's one that I want to write about. That's fine. Just send me an email and I can approve it. All right, just to make sure, because there were a few that I left off for a specific reason. All right, the first thing in this folder, in the research paper and MLA folder, are the guidelines for your paper. So I know you want to see what it's going to look like, how many sources you need, how many pages is there, how many words. So let's just kind of look through this. It says the purpose of this paper is to argue for or against your issue with a claim and to support your argument with scholarly sources, logical appeals, and pathetic appeals while creating a credible ethos. Now, some of the issues lend itself again more to logical appeals versus pathetic appeals, but I do want you to at least incorporate one of each of them, okay? Now, you may say, how can I get an ethos? Because I'm writing about raising the minimum wage. Well, if you've ever had a job, that can create an ethos. Your scholarly sources, that creates ethos, because that means that you have done your research and you have found sources that are scholarly sources, not just some fly-by-night person online. And so keep in mind, as you choose an issue, what's one that means a lot to me that I can, be personally involved in, because again, this is a first-person persuasive essay. All right. The research paper needs to be no less than 800 words. That's about 3 to 3.5 pages, typed MLA format, double spaced, with heading and a header. And you need to have no fewer than 3 outside sources. Okay. I think you can write the paper in 3. You probably are going to need 4 or 5. All right. Some things to keep in mind when you're looking at sources. Stay away from paper mills. Those are those sites that already have papers written or they sell essays. No student essays, no personal websites, websites with advertisements. There's some scholarly websites that are even like government websites or education websites that might have one advertisement on it. I just want to stay away, or I want you to stay away from ones that have a lot of pop-ups, that have a lot of just overt advertisements, because that's not a knowledgeable source. That's just a source out there to make money. And so if you have a doubt, send me the URL and I will look at it and let you know whether it's a reliable or non-reliable source. Okay. No discussion groups or bulletin boards or blogs. You can't use that. And of course, no wikis. The best place to find your information is going to be from the library, and I'm going to show you how to use the databases in just a minute. I think all of your sources can be found in the databases. One particular paragraph, and I'm going to show you the structure of the essay in just a second. The second paragraph is where you talk about the background information of your essay, of your issue, I'm sorry. That particular paragraph you probably aren't going to find on the databases. So you may need to find a website or some other type of source to find the information on that. For example, the first school shooting, if you're writing about why you believe teachers should or should not be able to have a gun in their classroom to protect their students, you're probably not going to find any information on when this issue came about. However, if you do research online, you're probably going to find things like, well, the actual first murder in a schoolhouse was when some Indians attacked a school building in the 1800s. But more recently, probably the one incident that really started this issue and this debate is when Columbine in Colorado occurred, when the 2 students opened fire in the school. And so with that particular paragraph, you may need to do some research online. You might not be able to find the information on a database, and I'll talk about that just a little bit more. Any information that you find online has to be cited 2 places. 1, on the Works Cited page, and then 2, in parenthetical documentation. We are going to talk about parenthetical documentation on Tuesday of next week, so I will be back to give you instruction on that and do some practice. All right. I've also included on this handout a 7-paragraph outline for your essay. So everybody's paper should be 7 paragraphs. And all 7 paragraphs should be the same order and the same content. Okay. The first paragraph, of course, is the introduction, where you lead up in some way. You can use the techniques that our Successful College Writing textbook has, leading up to that thesis, which, of course, your thesis is going to verify what is your claim, what's your position on the controversy. Remember, it cannot be an announcement. You don't want to say, in my paper, I hope to persuade you that teachers should be able to wear or have guns in school. No, you just say, I believe teachers should be able to bear arms in school because, and then maybe list your 3 reasons, okay? Your second paragraph, your first body paragraph, is where you give background information on that issue. This is, again, where I feel like you can do the research best online. This paragraph shouldn't be too long. I would say no more than 5 to 7 sentences, because you don't want to retell a story. You just want to give background information on this issue. All right. Your next body paragraph is where you will acknowledge the other position. So when you're looking at assertions, we talked about pre-writing. What is the opposite of your belief? So if you feel that teachers should be able to have a gun in school, then in this paragraph, you're going to acknowledge the reasons why people believe they should be able to bear guns in school. All right. So when you research, You're going to have to research your side, and you're going to have to research your opposite side. The next three paragraphs, paragraphs 4, 5, and 6, that is your argument. Reason number 1 why you are for or against this issue, reason number 2, and then reason number 3. Finally, your last paragraph will be a conclusion. Again, restating the thesis, but also what conclusion can you make? One way I always like to end my persuasive papers is what I call a call to action. What do I think is a possible solution to this problem? How do I feel like people can begin to kind of find a way to agree to disagree? Or is there a policy that should be made that will kind of help satisfy both sides of the issue? Again, the way you want to end your paper, you've got some techniques in your Successful College Writing book, but one way might be a look to the future or a call to action, okay? So again, that's the handout that kind of guides you and outlines what the paper is going to look like. Again, I don't want you to start writing this paper this week. I'm just showing you today how to find sources, and then you can actually start researching. Next week's when we'll start writing the paper. In our schedule, I had it on the schedule for you to tell me what your issue is in class on Wednesday. Well, since I'm not there, let's do this. Why don't you send me a remind message telling me what topic you have chosen for your paper by Thursday night, okay? So by Thursday night, 11:59, send me a message. Again, if it's not on this list, just make sure you say, hey, Mr. Chairman, I chose one that's not on the list, just to kind of flags me so I can make sure I look at specifically what topic you have chosen, all right? And maybe give you some feedback. I've also included another just quick link to the outline. And then for those of you who sometimes have some questions about MLA that maybe you can't find in your handbook, I've included the link to the OWL, which is the online writing lab for the Purdue. So click on the OWL, and then click on the MLA guide, and then you will see that it has an index of all the different things that are included in the MLA guide. That way, if you want a quick reference and you don't have your handbook with you, you can always go to this website. Like, for example, if you're not sure how to do the works cited entry for a book or for electronic source, you've got everything here. We will talk about in-text citations, or another word is parenthetical documentation, on Tuesday of next week, but again, they also cover it here, so it's kind of a nice source for you. All right, let me go back to week 10. And the opposing viewpoints database folder is, I also have a video here. I'm not going to necessarily show it. I'm gonna redo this video with you now, but if you want another time to watch it, maybe you can watch this one. It's just about databases. The databases at Kilgore College are very extensive. The college pays a lot of money for our databases. I have not really looked at the high schools or the KISD's database collection. I'm sure you have used it before, but I want to show you Kilgore College. So if you're at the Kilgore College website, scroll down to the very bottom, you go to the library. And your chapter 22 and 23 worksheet talked a little bit about, one of the questions mentions the library, so hopefully you've had a chance to start that. It's due, what did I say, Thursday? Yeah, I think I said Thursday. I don't have my schedule right in front of me. Let me go back before I say something wrong. Week 10, yes, it's due by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. But the college library online is open 24/7. There are certain hours now with COVID face-to-face, but you do not need to walk into the library to do research nowadays. I'm sure you have found that out in the past when you've done research papers. Most of these issues are current issues, and so your databases are more current than books. But if you do want to, you can search it and enter keyboard or keyword right here. But there are also some ebooks and articles that are available as well there. But I wanted to cover the databases. So I'm going to click on databases and it automatically groups it by subject, which is fine for like next semester when we're taking Tito 2, which is literature. They're all listed. If you click on literature, then all of the literature ones are listed here. Now for this particular assignment, I think we need to go and do it by A to Z, alphabetical order. And the first database I'm going to show you is probably going to be the one that you're going to use the most with this particular assignment. It's called Opposing Viewpoints. So once you click on that, it's going to ask you to log in. You're going to log in just like you do for Blackboard. And it's going to take you to the Galen Context Opposing Viewpoints database. Now, if you are like, I don't know what issue to do, nothing on that really list makes, really strikes a chord with me, click on this Browse Issues tab, and you will see hundreds of different issues. If you want to do a little pre-research, you might can find another topic in this. So it's very vast, okay? But let's say you've already chosen your issue. And I'm just going to type in teacher guns. Then I'm going to hit search. When I do that, I get 4 viewpoints, 334 news articles, 34 magazine articles, some audio clips, and 1 video. Viewpoints is the one you're going to want. Now, it's going to show you your top 3. There's actually 4. So click on viewpoints where it says the number so you can get all 4 of your articles. This one says arming teachers is not an effective way to prevent school violence. The next one, teachers should be armed to prevent school violence. So those are 2 different options. Arming teachers will not reduce school violence. And the final one, arming teachers and parents will prevent school shootings. Now, again, you're going to have your side that you want to take, your claim, and you're going to need multiple sources on that claim. However, you're going to need at least one on the opposite side for that 3rd paragraph where you have to list the opposing viewpoints, okay? So let's say I like this one. Looks kind of interesting. I'm going to click on it. When I open it up, I see kind of skimming through, okay, it looks like something I will want to use. Well, I can do a couple of things. If I'm at a printer, I can hit the print button. If I want to save it to a flash drive, I can do that. If I want to email it to myself, I can do that. Or let's say you have a friend that's doing the same issue. You do some research like, oh, this person would like that. I can send it to them, and you can just send it to them and help them out. Now, the works cited entry. We learned from that MLA video and with our handbook that there are 9 things that we're looking for, not necessarily always 9. And we might have multiple containers, so it might be more than 9. We learned that in our handbook, there's a specific model on how to find and how to cite an article in a database. And we even practice with that with our research, works cited online practice. So if I'm looking at this, here's my author, Jacqueline Mitchard. I have an editor. I have a date of publication. I have where it originally was published in a journal called Juvenile Crime, published by Greenhaven Press. So I've got all this information that I can use. I know my title is Arming Teachers is Not an Effective Way to Prevent School Violence. So I can look at my handbook and figure out how to do this, or I can cheat. Now I'm going to show you how to cheat today. Up here at the Cite tool, click it. MLA, APA, and Chicago. Well, we're using MLA. Boom. It's done for me. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to copy it. And let's pretend I'm doing a research paper and I'm ready for my works cited page. So I'm going to go to 12-point font. I'm going to go to Times New Roman. I'm going to set my paragraphs up to double space, and I'm not going to add any space in between. I'm going to center my title. And let me blow this up just a little bit. I'm going to go to left, justification, and I'm going to hit Control V, and I'm going to paste it. Now, looks good so far, except it went back to my Arial. Let me see if I do this, if it'll do. Yeah, I did it Times New Roman. But I'm missing my hanging indent, right? So I can do a couple of things. I can go over here, and I can hit this increase, decrease indent button. When I do that, it moves everything over, okay? And that's just Word. It likes to format things for you. You can also go up here to References and go to MLA and make sure it's an MLA file. Sometimes that'll help. I have not used this toolbar as much as other students have, and so you might want to play around with it. But this is what I have found that works. If I put my cursor on the second line and I hit enter twice, I hit it once and nothing happened. But I hit it the second time and something happened. Now I'm going to backspace, and now I'm going to hit the tab key. So now it's going to move everything over. Now, everything looks great except when I copied and pasted this, it lost my italics, and sometimes that happens. I know that this is my journal. It needs to be in italics. I know that my opposing viewpoints database needs to be in italics, okay? And I may need to look through and make sure nothing else be in italics. Well, this is a newspaper. That needs to be in italics. Sometimes I've copied and pasted and everything comes over beautifully. It's italicized. Everything looks great. Other times, like just now, it did this. Earlier today, I was playing around with it and it even indented for me, and I didn't have to indent. So again, you just have to play around with that. But look at all of this that it's done for you that you didn't even really have to think about, okay? So that's why I say use the databases, because they're so helpful with the site tools and things like that, all right? Now, every once in a while, you may get an article that doesn't look like it's there. And so it's a PDF instead of an HTML. So, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now, let me try a different search. Same topic, but now let me try to change guns to firearms and see if that just finds anything else out. Well, it looks like it did. It looks like it's some different viewpoints than what I have. Pilots are armed. Why not teachers? Why the left opposes arming teachers? Banning guns is not enough to stop campus violence. So again, don't just search one thing and think that that's it. Realize that the way you word something can really affect the results that you get. Okay, let me go back and show you a couple other databases that I think will be helpful for you in your research. One of my favorite databases in general, when I don't even know where to start, is Academic Search Complete. And it's a little bit different than Opposing Viewpoints. Let's say I'm going to do one on legalizing marijuana. All right. Here's one. Let's say it looks like it's something I want to read. Well, when I look at it, I don't see the article. I just see an abstract. This is not the article. An abstract is a summary. But if I come up here to the left, I see that it's in PDF. So it's an actual scanned version of that article. So this is the article. So sometimes you may not see it. You've got to find the PDF. Okay. Same cheat method here if you go to Cite, except this one you have to scroll down and find MLA. But again, there it is for you. Highlight it all, right click, copy. This one was started with a B, so I'm going to put it in front of the M, and I'm going to paste it. I don't know why it did that. We don't want that, so I'm going to have to change that. Made it all caps. Again, when I hit tab, it does that. So I backspace, enter, enter, backspace, tab. And I'll give you a little bitty slip of paper that has those little tools on it. Again, for some reason, it's not bringing my italics over. So I'm going to italicize the things that I need. That's it. But other than that, it's perfectly done for me. Okay. So Academic Search Complete is another useful website. If you are doing a issue over a medical question or a medical claim, I would suggest using Medline. Medline is full of medical issues. It's run by EBSCO, which is the same as Academic Search Complete, so it's going to look very similar. So let's say that I am doing one on organs sold for transplant. I see that looks like 2 articles. I bet you there's more than that. I may just have to say organ selling, or just put organs for sale. Maybe that'll bring up some more results. But again, those to me are your top 3: Opposing Viewpoints, Academic Search Complete, and Medline. However, you are welcome to skim this list and see if any of the other ones might be beneficial to you. I will say that LexisNexis is a, let me see if we still have that one. We used to. No, I don't see LexisNexis. It was a combination of news articles, and it might be named something else. I may have to do a little, it might be this News or Newspaper Plus. It had a lot of good newspaper articles. Maybe you're needing some specific article. That might be another database that you can search. But for sure, Opposing Viewpoints, Academic Search Complete, those are your top 2 that you would go to. And again, library, databases, and then if you want to search from A to Z to make it easier on you, there they are. All right. Again, this week, I'm just wanting you to kind of start telling me what you think you're going to choose to do your paper over, and then begin researching. I don't think that you necessarily have to start writing anything at this point. Just begin looking out there. Maybe you email me a topic on Thursday and you research this weekend and realize that, oh, I didn't really find much. I didn't really like what I found. Then put your topic and just let me know in class next week. But I think that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to take one more look at Opposing Viewpoints, and I'm going to stretch it out to an assignment called an annotated bibliography. Annotated bibliographies are wonderful ways to find out the ethos of a source, and to see and to find out if it's credible, and to find out if it's really something that you would want to use for your paper. Those of you going off to four-year universities, you're probably going to have to do a lot more annotated bibliographies later in your college career. I know not all teachers teach it in 1301, but I've had numerous students that tell me, Ms. Truman, thank you for teaching that to me, because I had to use it a lot later in college. And just to have some of the basics about what it is, I think will help you later on. All right, so hopefully you're working on your chapter 22 and 23 worksheet. It's due Thursday night. You'll watch this in class on Wednesday, and then Thursday I will have another video to discuss the annotated bibliography and a little bit more about the research paper. Feel free to email me or send me a remind question, even if as you're watching this video tomorrow during class, if a question arises, just send me a message real quick on Remind. And I'm hoping maybe Thursday to go live with you, but I don't know for sure with the computer issue, and because I can't see y'all because there's no video on those computer or that computer in Miss Green's room. But, and I think it'd be better to just watch one video versus all of y'all logging in on your Chromebooks at the same time. You would all have to have headphones. That way we could just hear each other. Anyway, I just think it might be a big hassle, but hopefully it'll work. And again, feel free to email me any questions or send me a remind message. And you can send me a remind message with your issue. You don't have to email it to me. All right. Thanks, guys. See y'all next day.